Hey guys, I saw the Man from U.N.C.L.E. late last night, and I gotta say I dug it. I really dug it. It was a lot of fun. And I was a bit worried because I heard very good things about the movie in the past month, but when the movie was released, a lot of people are saying bad things about the film, like the two leads were terrible, they have no chemistry. Alicia Vikander was good, but apparently that doesn't carry the film. This movie is all style, no substance, it's boring as hell, so I was like, oh man, am I gonna hate this movie then? But no, I really like it, I dug it, and I don't even know what people are talking about. I thought the two leads were great. I thought Henry Cavill was good and Armie Hammer. Yes, his accent was a bit weird at times, but I thought he was good. And it's weird that we have a spy film in the 1960s and we have a British actor playing an American, and we have a British Superman, basically, and then we have an American playing a Russian, so what's up with that casting? I wasn't worried about Henry Cavill. I liked him as a Clark Kent Superman in the Man of Steel, and I think he is a good actor. So in here, I expected him to be like 007 Clark Kent, and he basically is 007 Clark Kent. He's like a mixture of Clark Kent and a bit of Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig. He's a bit of a brute, but he has the suave, the personality of Pierce Brosnan and James Bond. He talks like Clark Kent, so basically that's 007 Clark Kent. I thought he was fine. I was a bit worried more for Armie Hammer because I thought he was good in The Social Network. I did not see Mirror Mirror, so I wasn't sure if he was good in that, but I heard he sucked. I saw The Lone Ranger. Piece of shit. Then again, I wouldn't say it's 100% his fault because they wrote the character bad, but even he was not that good. So, I don't know, I guess he tried, but I was a bit worried that he is not going to be good in this film, but no, I liked him, even with his weird sounding accent. He tried his best with the accent, but he made the character work. His character was awesome. I can't pronounce the character's name, Ilya Kurakovich or something like that. I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry guys. Especially if you like the TV show from the 60s. I never seen the TV show, so that's what I was a bit worried about too. Like, am I going to get lost while watching this film? Because, like, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I never seen the TV show. I saw the movie. I kind of got lost. So here, no, I didn't get lost. It's basically like an origin story. The title sequence, which was pretty cool. It talks about the events of the Cold War, what's happening in Russia and Germany and Italy, and it shows all this information, and then it cuts to Henry Cavill, and I do like that because the movie, in the beginning especially, it felt like it was shot in the 1960s with actual cameras from the 1960s, so I like that, and it shows Henry Cavill. He knows he's being followed by Armie Hammer's character, and then he gets into customs, and he has to try to find Alicia Vikander. Then it looks like a modern movie, but at the same time, even though the film does look like it's a modernized, at the same time it kind of feels like it's actually taking place inside the 1960s, and that's what I love about Guy Ritchie, that he goes into great detail about the era, and it's pretty awesome. The environments look good, and sure, some of the CG shots don't look that impressive, especially during the car chase, and the car chase was awesome, but when you see the cartoony looking CGI elements, and I understand why it's like that, because the Guy Ritchie style, like, okay, it goes from the perspective of the car, then inside of the driver's seat, and then goes outside of the car, then shows Armie Hammer's car and stuff. Yeah, that's all CGI. So the car looks cartoony, but then it goes straight into practical effects, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay with that. Sure, it's you can tell from night and day which one's CGI and which one's the real thing, but you know, it's intense, it's fast, and especially in the first car chase scene, it was pretty cool. So, Henry Cavill, I thought he was fine. He plays Napoleon Solo. Weird name, to be honest, but then again, has to be from the TV show. Like I said, I'd never seen the TV show, so I wouldn't know that much about it, but yeah, he plays Napoleon Solo, and he plays like an almost perfect guy, too. And I can see why people might have a problem with that. He's like almost too perfect. Sure, he gets into trouble here and there, but what I love about his character, and also Armie Hammer's character, is that they're used to this kind of thing, so if they get into trouble, they honestly know what's going to happen next. So when Henry Cavill gets caught, because he drank some liquor and it was laced with drugs, so that's why he gets tired, drowsy, and then he gets knocked out, he knows that he's going to get tortured, and after that he knows he's going to get saved. Kinda, because even though he felt like, oh my god, I might actually die at this point, then he sees someone, nope, I'm correct again, ha ha ha! So yeah, I love that. And what I do love is that this movie is not exactly a parody of spy films, but it kind of feels like it is. They put tags on each other, Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer. And so when Henry Cavill's like scanning the room and he's looking for all the wiretaps and stuff, and then he takes out all of them, goes to Armie Hammer's door, knocks on it, and he's talks to Armie Hammer. Listen, these are all Russian made, and this is all your stuff. And Armie Hammer's like, one moment, he closes the door, goes back in, comes back out, and he's like, this is all American made! And they realized they wiretapped each other. That was awesome. And I do like the fact that Henry Cavill, he didn't check for all the wiretaps, so when Armie Hammer's trying to search the frequency so he could listen in on Henry Cavill's room. And then he listens in on it, and Henry Cavill is having sex with the female villain. And I love that. And if you can't tell by the moans of the female villain, then the chandelier shaking says it for you. I love that. I love that shit. And what I also love is that because these two guys are so confident in their jobs that they think they know everything, then when they realize something random happens, they're just shocked about it. So, like, when Henry Cavill gets saved by Armie Hammer and they put up the guy in the electric chair. So, but it keeps having glitches, so it doesn't fully work. But for some reason, the guy in the electric chair accidentally fixed the glitch. So he sets himself on fire accidentally. But this happens in the background while Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer were talking about what they're going to do with the guy. They're like, this guy would provide useful information. You know what? All right, so let's get as much out of him, then we'll put him in jail, and then he'll probably be released in 5 years. Then he'll probably get a job, which could be a good or bad thing. He could probably work for us. He could work against us. You know what? Yeah, let's go back inside. And then they look at the window, and he's burnt alive. And Armie Hammer's like, huh, he fixed the glitch. And Henry Cavill's like, damn. I left my jacket in there. I love that humor. That was good. If you love that kind of humor, yeah, this movie is a lot of fun. And like I said, these guys are so confident. And like I said, it felt like a parody of spy movies because it's like, ha ha ha, I'm suave and charismatic and I get to have sex with all the ladies. I know what's going to happen next. So yeah, Henry Cavill's character is exactly like that. And Armie Hammer's character, oh my god, he gets angry for anything. If something pisses off even a little bit, he gets super mad and he wants to kill something, but he can't. So he, you can see it in his face that he wants to destroy something. He wants to rip the guy's head off and stuff. And his hand starts shaking. So he just tries to calm down, but he can't. And I love that because there's this scene where he's so mad about Alicia Vikander's uncle saying bad shit about Armie Hammer. So Armie Hammer's like, okay, I gotta release this stress. I gotta wash my hands. So he goes to the bathroom. Then there's these 3 assholes on top of the sinks just having a conversation. And Armie Hammer is like, I really need to use the sink. And one of the assholes is like, use the ladies' room. I was like, okay, listen, guys. Armie Hammer's like, I don't know, 6'4", 6'5". He's a tall motherfucker. He has an angry look in his eyes. You want to fucking mess with this guy? I mean, sure, there's 3 of you. Sure, probably all 3 of you could be like ninjas or assassins and stuff like that. But no. You're just guys who are conversating in a fucking bathroom on top of fucking sinks. So, yeah, they think, oh yeah, just go to the ladies' room. So Armie Hammer's like, okay. He locks the door, and the 3 guys are like, oh shit. And then after that, it cuts off, and then it cuts back to that scene, and Armie Hammer just leaves the bathroom, and he's like, okay, I'm calm now, I'm good. And then in the background, you hear the cries and moans of the men he beat the shit out of. That was awesome. That was fun. Here's the thing. When I came into the movie, I thought that because it's a Guy Ritchie movie, and I do like the Sherlock Holmes movies, and I thought Sherlock Holmes 2 is one of the best action movies of that year. And I think Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol came out that same week, actually, because I believe both of them came out in Christmas. I could be wrong, though, but even though Sherlock Holmes 2 had a lot of problems, I mean, it's a sequel, so it's a big stupid sequel, but it has a lot of cool action elements to it, and I thought the action was fantastic in that movie. So I expected the same thing here, but it's not really an action film. There are action set pieces, but it doesn't really focus on that. It mostly focuses on the dialogue. It's a spy movie, but it doesn't focus on stealth that much either. Because even Napoleon Solo, he doesn't wear a mask or anything, and almost everyone knows who he is. And even though he changes his name so he can create an alibi, but everyone knows who he is. Even the female villain knows who he is. So that's funny. And she still had sex with him anyway. And I like that. And yeah, Henry Cavill's character, oh my god. He, one of the, she's not a maid. Who's she? The receptionist of this hotel they're staying at comes up with a bottle of champagne. And at first I thought, okay, that champagne is laced with drugs or something like that. So that's why Henry Cavill's like, you know, that's, bottle's too big for one. So it gives the hint. At first, I thought it's giving the hint that, okay, he wants her to drink it with him, but she knows that's poison. No! It doesn't go to that. It just leads to them having sex. And he keeps saying, can you stay for another 5 minutes? And you see her. Amazing body. I mean, you don't really see a nipple, but you see like side boob, and this woman has a great body, and she just walks away. She's like, no, I have to leave in 5 minutes. And I was like, damn, Henry Cavill has sex with everyone. And at the time, I thought it was going to be like a love triangle between him, Armie Hammer, and Alicia Vikander. But no, it wasn't. Alicia Vikander and Armie Hammer were the ones trying to have a romance because they're trying to pretend to be, they're pretending to be fiance and, yeah, they're pretending like they got engaged. But, yeah, turns out that Henry Cavill doesn't care about Alicia Vikander at all. So I like that. Alicia Vikander was very good in the film. I mean, she's rocking it this year. I mean, Ex Machina, I hope she gets nominated for that. And now this. And even when critics say that the movie sucked, but Alicia Vikander was good, yeah, I understand that because she was great. She was really good in this film. So yeah, she's hot this year. We also have the female villain played by Elizabeth Debicki. I'm sorry if I pronounced her last name wrong, but she was great. I think I've seen her in The Great Gatsby, but I'm not 100% certain about that. But she was good, and you don't really get that much female villains these days, especially good ones. So she was great. I mean, the last female villain in a movie that I really, really liked is probably Rosamund Pike from Gone Girl. But she's not exactly a villain. She's just a crazy motherfucker. But still, a female villain in a spy movie, Elizabeth Debicki pulled it off so well. She was great. And she was intense. And she doesn't really need a man's help. And I do like that. That even though she has a husband, and she actually cares about him because she was angry when Henry Cavill said that her husband was a pussy. He died a pussy. So I thought that was good. She was very, very good. And the soundtrack for this film, oh my god, is so good. I don't know much about the music, so I'm not sure if this is like authentic music from the 60s, but it all works so well. I mean, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. Of course the soundtrack has to be kick-ass. So yeah, that was good. The action sequences, even though there's a few of them, they're very good. The car chase in the beginning was super cool. Oh my god, I love the setup for this. So, Henry Cavill knows that he's being followed by Armie Hammer, so he meets up with Alicia Vikander. Then he tells her, okay, we gotta borrow her car, so I'm gonna be in the backseat, laying low, preparing my gun, and you're gonna say, you're gonna hum to me whenever, if whatever I said was true. So he says, okay, so are we being followed? And she's like, okay. Is there only one guy in the car? Is only one of his hands on the steering wheel, and does it look like he's reaching for something? Okay, so if you hear gunshots, drive! And then it was very tense. You don't know exactly what's gonna happen next. And then all of a sudden, Henry Cavill's like, pew pew! And then Armie Hammer's like, holy shit, he's trying to shoot me, that motherfucker. So there's this intense car chase, and then they go up into the building, and then there's this awesome idea about the grappling hook, and then Henry Cavill goes down, then he's like, wait, back the truck up! So Armie Hammer has to fall into the minefield, well, the DMZ zone or whatever it's called. So he falls into that, and then he can't chase Henry Cavill and Alicia Vikander. And then the next scene they showed was Jared Harris bringing Henry Cavill, and Jared Harris was taking a piss, and then Armie Hammer happens to be in the bathroom with Henry Cavill, and they're having this funny ass fight where they destroy the shit out of the entire bathrooms, and Jared Harris is still pissing. He's just looking at both of them. He's like, huh, this is kind of entertaining. That was fun. And then after that, there's really not that many action sequences until they infiltrate the base. And I think that is like halfway through or past halfway through the movie. And the base, the infiltrating the base thing was funny because they're trying to compare each other, like American versus Russian. Like American technology is not as good as Russian technology, but Americans are very good at lockpicking, and Russians suck at it even with their high technology because they don't know how to do that. So yeah, Henry Cavill makes great use of his sneaking in skills and stealing and lockpicking and stuff and safe cracking, even though they set off the alarm. That was funny. And Armie Hammer has all these gadgets and tools like the ion thing that could destroy the metal of the fence. That was cool. Yeah, so they keep comparing each other. And I love the part where Armie Hammer lost his father's watch because he has to pretend like he's an architect and he can't fight. So the guy lost his watch and he sees the security guard who has a watch that looks similar to Armie Hammer's father's watch. So he sneaks up on the guy, and Henry Cavill's like, what the fuck are you doing? So Armie Hammer's like, okay. Boom! I was like, holy shit! And he made the guy stand while sleeping, and he's not dead, he's just sleeping. He's like, like that, and he's like, don't worry, he'll wake up in 20 minutes. I was like, holy shit, that was awesome, and the loud crack it made too. I thought he killed the guy. Oh man, that scene was funny. And then after that, we got this boat chase, which was fucking hilarious. Oh my god, because they set off the alarm, they're trying to run away, and then Armie Hammer shoots the glass, jumps out the window, and he lands on the wood because Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill thought that they're right next to the freaking ocean or the river. I forgot exactly where it is. So they felt like they're right next to the it's either a river, lake, or ocean. It's either one. So they're next to the body of water, so they thought that they could just dive into the water. No, they landed on the freaking wooden floor, and they're both hurt from it. So then they go onto the boat, and Henry Cavill is not even buckled in or anything. He's just hanging on to like a tiny little metal pipe. And then Armie Hammer's like, hold on, cowboy. And then he does this wicked-ass turn, and Henry Cavill just flies off the boat and lands in the water. And Henry Cavill's like, okay, so we got this boat chase going on, and the enemy boat is following Armie Hammer, so you know what, I'm gonna swim to the nearest truck. So he just swims casually, goes up inside the truck, and oh my god, this scene felt like it was 5 minutes long. So he goes inside the truck, turns on some music, great music, mind you, and then he looks at it, and he's like, huh, there's a picnic basket here. This guy has great liquor. And then he sees that there's a sandwich there, and he's like, okay, he grabs a napkin, puts it on his shirt, and starts eating the sandwich while we have this boat chase that's happening in the background. Seriously, the way it was shot, it just focuses on Henry Cavill, and in the background, in the mirror, mind you, it shows that Armie Hammer's still being chased by the boat, the enemy boat, and they're like, and then at one point, Armie Hammer's boat explodes, and Henry Cavill's like, huh, okay. So Henry Cavill drives the truck, and at first you think he's leaving Armie Hammer behind, but no, he's just revving up the truck, he's waiting until the boat gets into position, then he drives off the ramp, lands on the enemy boat, and then rolls up the window, turns on the headlights so he can see where Armie Hammer is because he's drowning, and then he rolls down the window, goes out into the water, rescues Armie Hammer, and then they drive off in the Vespa with Armie Hammer hugging him from behind. That was fun. That was a fun-ass boat chase. And then after that, there's not really that many action sequences because after that, they infiltrate the base where Alicia Vikander is held hostage, and they're trying to find Alicia Vikander's father because he's preparing the warhead. But the way it was shot, it's like a comic book panel. I'm not sure if it's like that in the TV show, but it's done very effective this time. I mean, I hated this in the Hulk movie by Ang Lee, but here it actually worked very well. It's a fun action sequence that only lasted 30 seconds, and it's all like comic book panels. You see like so many different camera shots of the this gun battle, and then it all merges into one. So I love that. And you see like this black line, and I always love that when it shows like two different perspectives, and then they join together in the middle, and the black line disappears. That is awesome. I always love that kind of style of filmmaking. So yeah, then after that, there's this car chase, and I was kind of disappointed by the car chase because I thought it's going to be super intense because it's supposed to be the final action sequence of the film, but not really, no. I mean, it looks cool, and that's basically it. It just looks cool, but it's not as intense as it was like in Mad Max Fury Road or even the chase sequence in Through the Woods in Sherlock Holmes 2 with all the awesome slow-mo. Speaking of which, there's no slow-mo in the film, to be honest, and I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm wondering if Guy Ritchie's like, no, it's not in the TV show, then we're not going to use slow-mo here. And it's kind of a shame because I thought he does slow-mo scenes very, very well. Great effects in them, too. I mean, shit. So yeah, then we have the car chase, and then it's like 20 minutes long. It felt like it. And then they realized that the warhead they have is kind of a decoy. It's functional, but it's not the one that with the uranium. So the female villain escaped, and she has the uranium. She's on this fishing boat, and Henry Cavill knows the name of the fishing boat because he heard information about it before. So they track her down, and Henry Cavill just has this long talk about her husband, like he died of pussy. And he's like, oh yeah, during the time we're speaking, and we know your coordinates, and we know that you're going to launch the nuke very soon, but we have our nuke, which is tracked with your location, and we just fired it like 30 seconds ago, and you're going to die within 10 seconds. Bye-bye now. That was awesome. That was fun. And the movie ends. If you've seen the trailers, the scene where Hugh Grant comes in and says, oh yeah, your code name has changed. It is now Uncle. That's the final scene of the film. And I'm actually okay with that. This movie is more like an origin story, and it was a blast. It was fun. And yeah, you know the two guys are going to survive. You know the two guys are going to team up with each other. So yeah, I was okay with that final scene being shown in the trailer. So yeah, the movie was a lot of fun. Elizabeth Debicki was a great female villain, and Alicia Vikander makes a great sidekick. And yeah, she kicked ass. She was very good. And Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill, I thought they had great chemistry together. Probably, if you do not like these actors, then you'll probably hate the movie. But I thought this movie has so much style. It makes great use of the environments, great use of the soundtrack, great use of the 1960s era. It was so beautiful to look at. Yeah, some iffy CGI, but it just oozes with style. I recommend this film. Great movie. A lot of fun. So this year has a lot of great spy flicks. I mean, seriously, we had Kingsman in the beginning. That was a lot of fun. That was a blast. Spy was actually funny, and I'm not a Melissa McCarthy fan. Then we had Mission Impossible not Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. I thought it was not as good as Ghost Protocol, but I still think it's a great film, great spy movie, great Tom Cruise movie. Yeah, great action. It was good. And now we have The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Not exactly an action film, but has so much style. The dialogue is great. Yeah, it's a funny movie. I recommend it. And soon we're going to have The Bridge of Spies, but I'm not exactly sure if that's exactly a spy movie, but it's directed by Steven Spielberg and has Tom Hanks, so I can't wait. And then we have 007 Spectre in December, I believe, or November, one of those two. So yeah, I can't wait for those movies. So write down in the comments below if you've seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And I really hope this movie does well in the box office because I think Straight Outta Compton is going to be #1, and then it's Ant-Man and all that other stuff. So I hope this movie makes a good amount of money at the box office. That's all I'm hoping for. So anyway, if you've seen this movie, write down in the comments below how do you feel about the movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Guys, if you like this movie, please click the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, there's an annotation here for subscribing. So until next time, guys, see you later, and thank you for watching.